I'm Bambi Francisco for Vader TV, the network for innovators. Well, mobile advertising is expected to surpass $2.7 billion in 2008. That's up $1 billion from last year. Well, joining me to talk about the business of mobile advertising and how his company is faring in this nascent but fast-growing sector is Harold Neidhart. He's the CMO and co-founder of Smaato, which is a provider of mobile ad technology. Harold, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Bambi. Thank you.
From what I understand, Smaato essentially works with developers and ad sales networks to deliver mobile ads, but why don't you describe what Smaato does?
Okay. Smaato is a young company, actually headquartered in Silicon Valley, and what we really try to do is work with developers and bring value to their mobile applications as a focus, where we aggregate ad sales networks throughout the world and bring advertising to their application advertising.
So, and now you're really trying to ignite some activity in this industry by creating this competition that you're doing in partnership with Vader. So we're very excited to be helping you with this competition. But why don't you tell us all about it? We're just announcing it on September 3rd.
Exactly. Yeah, we're really excited as well. I mean, this is a great start in the competition. Next week is the CTIA here in San Francisco, and this will be like the mecca for all mobile, or anything mobile, if you will. And so we thought that it's time that we give some recognition to our developers or all developers who want to do mobile advertising. And so we are very glad that Vader and a lot of other media companies will help us in starting this and promoting this this competition. And we give you some details probably throughout the next.
Okay. Just so they can hear from your very own words, what exactly are you looking for?
Okay, we are looking for a cool application which are done for any kind of phone, smartphone or Java phones, which have it's maybe a game, it could be a news reader, it could be any cool new application which you want to bring out to the market and help give some recognition and obviously some cool prizes to these developers to get out and spread the word and be recognized and stand out among their peers.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you're recognizing these developers for all their hard work. Well, why don't you show us? I think one of the best ways to convey your story is to really show us what a mobile ad looks like, what you're helping to deliver. So could you show us what the mobile ads look like?
Of course. I mean, we have advertising, obviously, which is a lot on different kinds of phones, and there are different formats, whether it's the iPhone or BlackBerry. And BlackBerry, for example, as a let's say a more mass market phone, if you will, they're based mostly on the Java operating system. You see that you have, for example, an application here with an RSS newsreader, and on top you see an advertising which is, for example, for Mini in this case. And if you press on the advertising, you see there's a big screen, so you have more access to information about the advertiser. And the cool thing about it is that in this case you don't leave and go to the mobile website already, but you have, let's say, a full screen ad, which you can now click through to go to the mobile landing page, if you will, of this particular brand.
Okay, so now you're working with, not directly with the advertiser, but you're working with an ad agency, correct?
We're working with ad sales networks. It's a very complex, let's say, if you will, value chain, and this is actually what makes our position valuable in the market. We have great developers who are very focused on, their Java code or C++ or Object-C for any kind of, that's all, let's say, very much tech speak for me and you. That's a very strong industry. On the other hand, you have the advertising industry, which is, they have their own terms, CPM and CPC and all that, which you as a publisher know quite well. And in most cases, they're totally different industries. So we try to bring them together, and for an advertiser, say, well, I want to reach a smart audience on phones. I mean, if somebody buys a phone with a big data plan, they might as well be very affluent and have high education. So it's a very high coveted target group.
Right.
We try to bring this need together to find the target group together with developers who say, well, I have a cool thing here which I developed and runs on a BlackBerry or on an iPhone, and how do I get BMW or anybody, Smart or a Mercedes-Benz, into my application? There's no way to call direct, so there's so many people in between.
So you work specifically with the carriers to identify that target market?
We work exactly with the ad sales networks, who work with the media agencies, who put the media budgets on behalf of the brands into work and spread it out into the mobile market.
How do the economics work down? Based on that ad right now, how is it, does an advertiser, does Mini pay based on a CPM, CPC,
right, and
how much are they paying, and how much do you get? How much does this ad sales network get? And how much does the
let me roll out my business plan, and let's go through all the books. No, it's in a way it's pretty simple. It's a complex market. Pricing is very fluctuous. So obviously there are different models, whether it's pay per action, CPC, click per call per cost per click advertising, or CPM, cost per traffic, if you will, per mil. Prices in the CPM ranges from £5, for example, in London, in the UK, and here in the US, maybe from $5 to $38. So depending on the targeting or on the specific handset we are targeting, or on the brand. And in the CPC range, it can be like cents, right? Very small. It could be also sometimes for lenders in the banking industry.
And what do you get out of that? What's your slice?
Our slice is a revenue share between the ad sales network. It varies between 10 and 90%, which we give to the developers. So we end up with let's start again. We start with a revenue share with the developers at 50-50 between what we get and what they get. But in the end, they will end up with 90%, depending on how much volume they have. So we have a very small portion in all this, in providing our free tools and all the
50% of the ad pie, and then 10% of what you share between the developer and yourself. Something like that. Around that. Now, do you provide metrics? Do you provide, because that's very important when it comes to advertising.
We provide the information and analysis to our developers, but that's their private data. So we don't provide a general index or any kind of general available metrics. Okay.
So just to clarify your position in this marketplace, doesn't sound like you're competing with the ad mobs or the ad networks, and you're working with them, correct?
Yes.
And who would you say is your competitor, or are your competitors?
Obviously, we see a couple of competitors in the market, which are either very specific or in different regions. First of all, one would think that ad sales network like an AdInfuse or Third Screen Media might be our competitors, but they're not. They're actually our partners. We have competitors which are, for example, focused on games, in-game wrapping. There's a company called Graystripe, which is out of the Valley, and they're very active and do great jobs over there. But if you see, our focus is that we have game, normal in-application, wrapping, mobile web widgets. So there's a whole tool set which we provide. And so in one specific area, Graystripe is a competitor, for example. Another competitor is, for example, Amobi, which are targeting only MNOs, so operators. And for operators, we just, for example, work with Orange and in France a lot. And there is a specific business or different business to what other companies are doing. So it's very not one company.
Right. There's many. I'm sure you're cooperating and competing with many of them. So one last question. So you're not building an ad technology network, and yet some people say that these mobile operators like Transpera and AdMob, they are building a long-term defensibility because they're building these ad networks, and we're creating technology in the short term in a rapidly evolving industry like mobile. You're really at a disadvantage. So is any reason why you're not creating an ad network?
Well, in a way, we are creating an ad network because for a developer, we are creating the solution for him as a global ad network, which we are creating with advertising. I think it's very important to know that, advertising is very local, right? It's very hard to run one general campaign in English throughout the world. In France, it will not fly, in Germany, not in India, not, and so on. So we are looking for specific local partners. But we honor the work. For example, Transpera is very specific in video, and they're starting a very specific time. There are other people who are just focusing on the iPhone. Our experience shows that we find that developers are focusing on not only one platform, but different platforms and different types of stuff. So we can provide them with our tools which work then on across different platforms.
Okay, and you're also aggregating the different ad networks.
Yes.
So which is an ad network in and of itself.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, we wish you the best of luck. Wish you the best of luck in the competition. Of course, we'll be launching that pretty soon live on Vader. So and we'll be looking for 50 to 100 or so developers, and we'll tell you about the prizes pretty soon. So thank you so much, Harold. We are going to be talking next time in our next interview about just the business of mobile advertising and what's working, so stick around for that one. And Harold, thanks very much for the interview.
Thank you.
I've been speaking with Harold Neidhart. He's the CMO and co-founder of Smaato. I'm Bambi Francisco.